on the Rural Radio Network. I'm Alex Makovica, and today joining us is Nebraska Extension's Eric Hunt to give us a preview of what's to come this week in the world of weather. And Eric, it sounds like those combines might get a break here in many parts of Nebraska with some moisture chances later this week. Tell us more about what we can expect.
Probably a short break. I don't think we're looking at any type of moisture that's going to set anybody back for several days. But you're right, though. We do see a pretty good chance of rain starting late this afternoon into the early evening hours across southwestern and west central sections of the state. And then those chances will increase as we head toward the north and the east overnight. So I think there's a pretty good chance for about a tenth, a quarter of an inch of rain for most of the southern and eastern 2/3 of the state. Or to put it another way, pretty much everybody besides the Panhandle has a chance of picking up some meaningful moisture out of this. So regardless, I would anticipate some precipitation later this evening and overnight across a good portion of the state. For western portion of the state, things should clear out a lot more quickly. Not likely to see much of any precipitation in the Panhandle. What we will get, though, is plenty of wind starting later tonight into tomorrow. So I do anticipate the possibility of wind advisories being issued across the western half of the state. Also get relatively breezy later on Tuesday and Wednesday across the eastern portion of the state as well. But I think the overall wind speed should maybe remain somewhat below advisory levels. Then after that, really kind of a bit of a cool stretch here, middle of the week. Not significantly cold for late October, but highs upper 40s to low 50s. Lows probably dropping below freezing for most of us at some point middle of the week. I do anticipate there's going to be chances for parts of southeast Nebraska get their first light freeze. Some places did this last week, some places did not. So if you didn't get it, there's going to be another chance here later this week. And then finishing out the week, I would say relatively seasonal for temperatures, mostly in the 50s, maybe cracking 60 across portions of western Nebraska. But certainly not too terribly cold for late October, not certainly the warmest that we've ever been this time of year either.
Okay, well, let's bring the drought monitor into this conversation. You mentioned not a ton of rain, maybe enough to slow things down for just a little bit, Eric, but does that change the picture of the drought monitor as it sits, do you think?
It's possible. So most of the state has done fairly well with moisture the last 3 months. I would say the two main exceptions would be parts of central Nebraska, particularly kind of just east of Kearney, through Grand Island, getting into, say, like Hamilton up in the Polk counties, parts of Platte County. So that area, like it's kind of the, or central northeast Nebraska meet, have been on the dry side. We did see some expansion of that normal dryness of the drought monitor. That's not technically drought, but I mean, it's more of a warning that you're going into drought if moisture doesn't start materializing relatively soon. We also saw some expansion of moderate drought into portions of northeastern Nebraska from the north and the east. So that area of the state has generally missed out on the better moisture so far this fall. I know they did pick up some reasonably good moisture a couple of weeks ago, but other than that, it's really, they generally missed out on the better precipitation that we have gotten across portions of western and southeastern Nebraska so far this fall. And the thing that concerns me about drought this time of year is not necessarily that it's, by this time your crops are already done. In a lot of cases, the harvest is, for some people, is already complete. But it's more that we have a shortage of moisture going in the root zone, and it's very difficult to recharge soils here in the winter. It can happen, but realistically, if we go into winter in the drought, there's a reasonably good chance that we still have those deficits going to next spring, which means you're either starting off the season short or you basically have to hope for additional moisture the next spring compared to what you would normally get, which can cause its own issues in terms of getting the next year's crop in the field.
Sure. All right. Thanks for the expertise. Nebraska Extension's Eric Hunt joining us here on the Rural Radio Network.